Hey, Sparkles, it's me, Sparkles. Come to the end of the video. I am doing anime characters as gods once again. So, without further ado, let's just jump right in and let's roll into it. Let's get into this video and let's go. Like and subscribe if you enjoy this video. Hello everyone, I'm back and I'm coming back at y'all with some more gods I have discovered. Two are from two new pantheons, and two are from an old pantheon I talked about last time. It takes a while to get the research done for these, but I have some more, a new kind of different type of religion I have found recently. But anyways, let's begin with the first one, shall we? We have a Zuku, also known as Deku by some people. He's the major god of power, strength, and successors, and minor god of training, energy, multiple powers, and heroes. You see, in his first life, he was a hero that got a power from his idol. He was known as Zuku. Zuku was known as Deku as his hero name. Now, most people nowadays pray to him for a blessing of his power. All for One. All for One, due to him ascending to godhood, has been permanently etched in his soul, meaning it cannot be stolen and it cannot be fully passed on. All Might is still up there, but he's a weaker version. He has a weaker version of All for One, known as Stockpile. He's not as powerful as Zuku, but he's still powerful enough to be someone that Zuku looks up to for training. His form resembles that of a skinny but yet kind of very strong man. Back to Zuku Midoriya. The most times he appears, he's in his old hero costume, but has been altered ever since he's ascended. He still has his gauntlets, but he has also, most of his costume has shifted over into a more of a turquoise green color. Sorry, I'm just tired from doing all this research. And his shoes are fully red, and he has metal gauntlets over his legs, which actually now have become something known as God Metal, which is the strongest metal in the world and can only be obtained by gods. And Zuku's blessing is, like I said, a minor version of his power, which has people taken to calling these powers quirks. And he is one of the strongest and ahead of the pantheon known as Hero Academia pantheon. He's immensely powerful in his own rights, but he has equals, some far exceeding his own power, some weaker than him, or some almost as strong as him. Now let's move on to the next one, shall we? Now for the second one, we are going to another part of the world that's basically a giant forest. And this person has evolved a few times from, what's the first one? From an ogre, to a Kijin, to a fair Oni, then to a flare Oni. This guy has evolved quite a few times, and he is the major god of flames, known as Bemaru. Sorry about that. He's also the minor god of the sun, because of his ability called, which is the ultimate skill from this area, known as, what's that ability called? I keep forgetting what the ability is called. Where is that file at again? Ah, here it is. The power is known as King of Blazing Sun, Amaterasu, which is something ability that his boss, which is known as an Omni God, calls an ultimate skill. Funny enough, skills in this part of the world are just blessings of different gods, but they can also be born. If, let's say, two people had two different blessings from different gods, the child will be born with a hybrid or something similar to those two blessings. But also due to the powers of these gods, there are different, different types of races. There are humans, and this world has, what I've been able to see, is a lot bigger than most worlds. Sorry about that again. Like I was saying, this world is bigger than most worlds I've heard of. But still, it's strong. These people are strong, but I've heard about stronger beings from other worlds. And for Bemaru, he's mostly known for wearing clothing resembling that of a samurai. Not the armor, but clothing just in general. Now, for his god markings, they are more like red scribbled streaks that connect his eyes together and they curl down to his, like tears curving down, into his side of his head. But then they form underneath his chin and go down his, chest and down to his hands all the way into the middle finger. They don't appear on his legs for some reason, but still, he is. I think I forgot to mention that he's also not just the minor god of the sun and generals, but also samurai, katanas, and leaders. He can sprout katanas anytime he wants. Let's move on to the next one, shall we? Now for the next one, we have the first one of the two I'm going to be talking about that are from a pantheon I've talked about previously. This one is known as Alphonse Elric. Sorry, just tired. Major god of soul movement, which is an ability he got from learning the truth of alchemy alongside his brother, which I'll be talking about later. He's also a minor god of metal suits, alchemy, and power. But due to him learning the truth, he has the ability just to clap his hands and do alchemy. But this is because of tattoos he's gotten, which are classified as guard markings. They are the alchemy symbols, and they can be found on pretty much everywhere. On any minor god of alchemy or major god of alchemy. But he also has some rather more interesting approaches to god tattoos. He has bracelets that are actually tattoos on either arm, and they're actually metal. He also has on his elbows 2 spikes popping out, and his feet are actually shifted into that of metal. And also his god markings on his chin and leaning down his chest to his legs is another god marking. From the prayers and answers I've got from him, I've learned this, and his appearances I've talked to him about. He says that he's got these from his time of being a suit of armor. For some reason, his body must have adapted and took in his soul, more or less actually, has taken in some of the elements of said armor and incorporated him. That gave him increased durability when he was alive. But when he became a god, he became a lot more powerful. And funny enough, those markings actually reappeared, but minor. He said that's how he got that little jagged shape on his chin and the 2 spikes on his arm. But he doesn't know how he got the alchemy symbols on his arms. And funny enough, these are known as burning god markings, for the record. Meaning they burn through clothing. No matter what you wear, it will burn through it. And unlike him, though, and like the first one I talked about, whenever he wants to use alchemy, a giant energy circle appears around him, and anytime he touches something, he doesn't have to clap his hands or anything. He can just summon that and touch something, and it does whatever he wants. And for him, it's pretty much like he's a living sorcerer's stone. Philosopher's stone, I mean. Was it sorcerer's stone? I believe it was philosopher's stone. If I remember correctly, though, there was a god for that. Anyways, I'll talk about that more later. Now, let's move on to the next one, shall we? The final one I'm going to be talking about today is his older brother, who was actually, funny enough, around as tall as him, but was shorter than him for a while. Edward Elric is his name, and he's a major god of power and alchemy, but a minor god of metal and metal limbs. And this is because of the fact that his arms were auto-metal for a good chunk of his life, but are now, more or less, biological god metal. They take on the properties of god metal, and he can shift his arms into any weapon he wants. But that's only his right arm, if I remember correctly, and then his left leg too. But here's the funny thing about him. He actually has a circle appearing around his chest. And instead of a circle appearing around him, there he has alchemy symbols appearing around him instead. For some reason, he said, from what I've been able to guess anyways, ever since he's learned the truth and he's been burdened with his brother for so long, for having to eat for his brother for so long, he has actually gained the ability to no longer need a circle, but ever since becoming a god, he has become one of, if not the most powerful mortal ascended humans to ever gain this power. He lost the ability to do alchemy when he was a human, but he he transformed back into a younger version of himself at the same height and knowledge of everything he's known, but he also regained his ability to use alchemy. Now, most alchemist gods don't have to snap their fingers or anything anymore, but they still have to make a circle around them. He doesn't even need to clap his fingers or snap his fingers. He doesn't not clap his hands or snap his fingers, I mean. He can just simply walk up to something, touch it, and if he wants to, break it down and reassemble it into anything he wants. Now, most people pray for him if they lose a limb, or they want to learn the truth of alchemy, or what the truth is. Now, most of these prayers go to him, but there is a more powerful god I will talk about next time, known as the God of Truth. Now, the reason why Edward Elric, from what I've been able to understand, isn't the God of Truth as well, is because due to him losing his ability to use alchemy at one time, he has always known the truth, but he has never been able to use it again for his mortal life. But he is going to reuse the ability, and from what I've heard and talked to him about, he says that he's mostly known to wear a cloak that used to be one of his state alchemist uniforms. That's actually a red sleeve, remaining to a jacket. And I've got to admit, that's actually a quite common appearance people say they found him in. But that's all for today, people. I hope you enjoyed today's video, because I'm afraid that's all the time I got for today. Until next time, subscribe today, join us by customary, or do my alliance. Goodbye and peace out, everyone.